Dr. Sam Chan's journey is a true testament to the power of leadership and transformation. Now a renowned leadership consultant, he has authored 38 books, founded the Sam Chan Leadership Institute, and is recognized among the top 30 global leadership gurus. Through his work, he equips leaders worldwide for growth and impact. Church with great expectation, let's rise and welcome Dr. Sam Chan.
Please be seated, please be seated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So in 2070 year, I started calculating how old I will be. Did anybody else do that? See, you all don't expect to be here. I expect to be here. I will only be 118 years old. See, you all are not expecting to be here, but I'm in that charismatic, I believe everything. So whoever is managing the clock, don't start me right now. I gotta say thank you and everything, so start me when I'm starting to teach. Yeah. Don't cut into my time. Yeah. There you go. Back it up, back it up. In case you don't know, there are big clocks up here that'll explode if I go over time. What an honor and privilege it is. I was thinking 2019, I was on these grounds and it was just red dirt, Ghanaian dirt. And here we are in this beautiful facility. To God be the glory, great things He has done. But every leader in this room knows that God also knows and has to trust human leaders to make it happen. No angels built this. No angels paid for this. And the great leaders of this house, Dr. Mensa Otable, Pastor Joy Otable, we owe a debt of gratitude for showing us what God can do. Thank you. Thank you. Consider you my personal friends, and what a joy it is to be here with you. And good to see my good friend Bishop Ransford obeying with us. I still remember what you preached last time. You helped me increase my faith. Yes, I remember that. Thank you for who you are. And then my dear friends with whom I've been so many times in South Africa, Pastor Andre Olivier and Pastor Wilma Olivier. Love you all, doing amazing work. Look up Rivers Church. Thank you. Love you. And I have a very special guest who's traveled with me, who pastored a church right around Washington, D.C. His name is Pastor Jeff Smith. Pastor Jeff, if you'll stand, we want to recognize your presence here today. You can start the clock now. So whenever I'm invited to a place, especially where there are going to be pastors like you, who are my heroes, by the way, you are my heroes. I was born and raised in a pastor's home. I have pastored a church, and then the Lord delivered me and set me free. He let me out early for good behavior. Some of you are going to do life. So whenever I go to a place, my question becomes, so what is my task? Not just what's my content, but what's my task? And I want to tell you how I'm viewing myself throughout the day today. My task is to put some groceries in your kitchen, but I'm not going to cook it for you. You will in our interactive time with the panel discussion and question and answers. So imagine for a moment there's chicken here, there's carrots here, there's potatoes here, there's onions here, there's garlic here. I'm just going to lay it out for you, but you got to figure it out what it means for you. Because there's no one size fits all. So I'm going to give you what I call starter thoughts. And then I'm also going to, at the end, tell you how you can get this book free of charge. I have nothing to sell. Nothing I have is worthy of payment, but I do give it away. So I will tell you how to get this book free of charge. I've been doing what I do for about 36 years now. I get to travel literally all over the world. I have clients on every continent except Antarctica. And most of my work is with massive organizations. And I started noticing something that was happening, but because pastors are so disjointed from each other and they never tell each other the truth. Pastors lie. There'll be more lying going on at this conference than any other time. Because how are you doing? I'm doing amazing. But you know you're not. You just came through a bad Sunday, day before yesterday. People were not there. Money was not there. God was not there. You believe the Bible, but preaching was not there. So, because I get to observe what's going on, I started studying it. And one of my studies revealed that in the United States of America, in the next 5 years, and that will apply here too, in the next 5 years, 480,000 pastors will not be pastoring anymore. That's about 500,000. We don't have Bible colleges and institutes. We don't have a factory to turn out pastors for large. One of my clients is in Pennsylvania, CBC, church in Harrisburg. On an average Sunday, they have 23 locations and see over 35,000 people. So how do you find a successor for a church that has 23 locations? It's complicated. So in life, most of us in this room, because of 4 or 5 major decisions in our life, 4 or 5. You've made millions of decisions by this time, but there are 4 or 5 major decisions that you make. Give you an example from my life. My first major decision in life was in 1973 when I relocated from India to United States. That was a major decision. I'd never left home. So went to United States of America. Till 1989, my world was totally white. When I say totally, I mean 100%. That was 1973. In 1980, that's 1973. In 1979, I got married to Brenda, and we are still married. That's an important thing to say. Because in those 46 years, a lot of marriages have come and gone. Anybody who's married here knows it's a major decision. Number 3 decision I made was in 1989 to leave my church that I was pastoring in Michigan and go to Atlanta, Georgia to be a president of a university. 4th decision I have made in my life, I'm talking about major decision, is in 2003 when I resigned from being president and started doing what I do, full time. I was already doing it, but full time. The last major decision I made was I was preaching in New Zealand in June of 2023 when I totally revamped my life, and I had slow down plans, but all of my slow down plans failed. So I had to have a stop it plan. So for example, in 2023, I flew over 200 flights all over the world. In 2024, I did 42 flights. That included family time as well. Major decisions. Many of you are on the brink of making major decisions in your life. And I'm going to help you today to uncover how you do that. So in all of our lives, there are what I call seasons of life. The pastor introduced me as Tsunami, and here's the title of the book. It says, Open Secrets to Pastoral Succession and Transition, called Tsunami. This book has very simple read, about an hour long. It tells you 5 of this, 3 of that, 4 of that, and how to make that happen. Because this is a tsunami happening. The worst tsunami the world has ever seen happened in 2004. It started in Indonesia, Sumatra, Indonesia. It was an underwater earthquake. And the waves from there made their way to Sri Lanka and eastern India. 225,000 people died one day. So what is a tsunami? A tsunami is not something you can actually predict. You can only respond to. It is a submarine, not a ship, but a under the water earthquake that happens, and waves start going. So the waves went from Indonesia to Southeast India, my home country, which is 3,000 kilometers. It even came to the eastern shore of South Africa. Tsunamis are happening, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm 68, I need somebody. And you don't have the energy to raise somebody. You're just not only running out of time, you just don't have the energy. How many of you, as you're getting older, are going to bed earlier? Can I see your hands? I won't see hands. I go to bed by 9 o'clock. I'm asleep by 9:30. Not ashamed to say it. There was a time I could stay up. Not anymore. So the energy, I have wisdom now, I have time now, but I don't have the energy. There's a tsunami taking place all over the world. So when this is happening, you have to unpack your life. So there are 4 seasons of life. The first season of life is what we call the starting season, the starting season. In the starting season, this is ages 0 to 20. Ages 0 to 20. This is providential things are happening. This is where you don't get to choose your parents, for example. Your place of birth, whether you're born in a rural town or a city. You don't get to choose your nationality. You don't get to choose the language that you speak. You don't get to choose the accent that you have. You don't get to choose your gender. Can I say that one more time? Yeah, you can say it for yourself. You don't get to choose your physical makeup. You don't get to choose your natural gifts. These are the starting season. But then the second one is what we call the searching season. The searching season. This is ages 20 to 40 or 45-ish. This is when you are starting out. This is survival. This is struggle. This is where you are completing your education. This is where you're getting married. This is where you're finding a job, creating a career, responding to your call on your life. This is where you are developing competencies and skills. But this is also the time when you're making some critical life decisions. 30, 20 to 45-ish. And then you get into what we call the success season. Number 3, success season. And this is ages 40 to 55. Ages 40 to 55. This is where you are settling on the inside, the inner settling. You're getting a little bit more secure about who you are. You're not trying to be like anybody else. There's a merging of your competency and your skills and your development of life. I want to say something about 55. I'm a student of leadership and leaders. So I'm a student of leaders first, leadership second. And I've discovered that most leaders I know did not even start peaking till they were about 55. And then something else happens. Till about late 40s, so hear me out here because I've done enough studies on this. Till late 40s to early 50s, we get ahead by saying yes. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, I will drive all night to preach for you in the morning. Yes, yes, yes. We said yes. But after mid-50s, life gets defined by saying no. The challenge is that all your life you have survived by saying yes. You got ahead by saying yes. You got promoted by saying yes. You got a raise in your job by saying yes. You started a business by saying yes. You started your church by saying yes. You've said yes, 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 yes. You said yes to church members that you hated. If you're a pastor, you don't hate a church member, you're not pastoring. Every pastor is homicidal. If you could get away with it, you know exactly. So, because you don't have, the muscle is still there. The no muscle is still there. It's dangling. It's atrophied. The yes muscle is strong, but the no muscle is there, but it's weak. And about this time, you start saying no. You get ahead in life by saying no. Many of you in this room need to go from Doulos 2025 and ask yourself, what are the 3 things I'm going to say no to? And not feel guilty or have to justify. Is that where you are at your age and stage in life? Can I give you some good news, by the way? When you get into your mid-60s, the no grows to a better place. It's called I don't care. Things that used to really concern you and perturb you and disappoint you, say, who cares? So the drummer is not coming in today? Who cares? Used to care, but they're amazing muscle. And especially when you transition from being a senior pastor, it's an amazing thing not to care. So after your success season, the last season is what we call your significant season. In your significant season, things are coming together and you're thinking more about your legacy and what you're going to leave behind, who you're going to leave behind. You start looking at where you are from the end back. Till now, you have looked from where you are to where you are going. Now you're looking at it from the end back. So in doing so, I want to say to you that there's something about grace. God gives you grace for different spaces in life. Like the children of Israel in the wilderness, the pillar of smoke and the fire. All of you have graces in your life. The trouble begins when your grace has moved, but you're still there. That is where the same hands that built the church end up destroying the church. And you know when the grace has moved because little things start irritating you. People start aggravating you. You stop liking going to those meetings that you created. You used to get angry with people who didn't show up for meetings, and now you don't want to show up for meetings. Many of you are realizing that the grace has shifted, but you're still there. And that's a dangerous place to be. So there are 5 steps in what I consider your next bold move, your next bold move. Everyone together. 1, 2, 3, your next bold move. The first one, the first step is what I call pre-contemplation. 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 This is when you're thinking unconsciously. It's deep inside of you. It's a tsunami that is stirring way down into the recesses of your soul. You think you should, but you keep putting it back. That's not God. That's not God. But that is God. And your past disappointments start surfacing at that time. So this is what we call pre-contemplation. You are thinking but not thinking. You are wrestling with yourself. There's an inner crazy feeling. Have you ever had a feeling deep down in the tsunami area of your life you could not put words to? You knew something was up. You just didn't know what was up. You would wake up in the middle of the night restless, but you didn't know if it was the devil or it was God, or indigestion. And you are thinking, but you don't know what you're thinking about. They are just swirling clouds. So after pre-contemplation comes contemplation. This is when you start seriously thinking about this. You start having a conversation with the ones closest to you. This is where you start asking people for counsel and direction. I can tell you, I get at least 2 phone calls a week from large church pastors saying, I'm thinking about this. Here's my scenario. Help me through. This is when you start contemplation. This is when you start aligning your resources and people. It will not just happen. You got to bring them together. God's give you wisdom and experience and expediency to do that. It starts coming together. And number 3 is action. Action. So the first one was pre-contemplation. There will be a test, by the way. And there's no PowerPoint here for you to cheat. Number 2 is contemplation. Number 3 is action. This is where you start making the leap. This is where a change has happened. It was 2002. 2002. I had been having this weird feeling. The university I was at was growing by leaps and bounds. We got annual awards nationally for the fastest growing, etc., etc. We were just going, it was just crazy stuff. People were talking about it everywhere. And in the middle of it all, when things were going amazing, the tsunami starts happening. So I start talking to my wife Brenda about it. And she started asking me important questions, such as, so how will we live? She said this to me. She said, Sam, right now people invite you to speak at their places, the conferences, the churches, because you're the president of a university. But when you're not the president, who's going to call you? You're good, but not that good. She started asking me difficult questions. So what will we do? So we start talking about it. I was speaking at a conference like this in Omaha, Nebraska. There were probably 5,000 to 6,000 people. It was an amazing conference, but all this is going on inside of me. So that afternoon, after the conference was over, I just wanted to walk. So I went down to what is called Old Town Omaha. Old Town Omaha has cobblestones and little boutique shops and everything like that. I'm talking about small shops. So I walk into this one shop that sold personalized, customized cards. So greeting cards. So I said, I'm going to buy Brenda a card. That's only one of its kind in the world. They're not very expensive, but they are just one of a kind. So I walk into the store. So it's probably from here to here and about that deep. I'm the only one in the store. There's a clerk at the machine to check you out. And there's a kiosk there, and there's a card. And I started reading the card. First, I read the card. Then I read it again. By now, I'm getting misty-eyed and I'm teary-eyed. I read it again. And then I started going like... So this girl who was the clerk, I'm still in my suit and tie, you know, because I'm coming straight from the conference. So this girl comes to me, sir, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. My assistant, his name was Eric, he used to travel with me, and he comes in, he said, Doc, you good? No, just leave the store. If you come to my office in my home, that card is framed. Mary Ann Radmacher from Oregon wrote the card. I'm going to read that card to you. That changed my life. It was not Bible, but it was preaching. Just checking to see if you were listening. I'm preaching, I'm not Bibling, okay? I just want you to know that. He was Bibling. That's a good word. I'm preaching. This is what it said. I'm going to read it twice for you. The jump, because I'm thinking about leaving the university. Here's what the card says. The jump is so frightening between where I am and where I could be. Because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and leap. Read to you again. The jump is so frightening between where I am and where I could be. Because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and leap. Some of you, may God give you the courage to trust Him. Because He told you, I'm with you when you go in. I'll also be with you when you are coming out. I will close my eyes and leap. Number 4. First is pre-contemplation. Sorry, number 4, yeah. Number 2 is contemplation. Number 3 is action. Number 4 is organizing. Organizing. This is where you start having conversation with supporters, church members. Be careful when you start having this conversation, because once the conversation happens, everything will shift. I want to tell you, it will shift like that. This is where you have to be mentally staying positive. And number 5 is when you start getting momentum. Start getting momentum. How many of you know it takes time to get momentum? So you've got to build momentum and sustain momentum. So I want to give you 3 essentials to succeed in your next bold move. 3 essentials to succeed in your next bold move. Number 1, you have to have a dream. Have to have a dream. Everyone say dream. A few things about dream. Don't let someone else create your dream. They will always dream too small. Because you are here, this is called from. And this is where God is taking you, that's called to. Most of you are focusing inordinate amount of time on your from. You've got to know your to. Where is God taking you to? Because once your to becomes clear, it becomes a magnet. From is important, but to is even more important. And don't scatter your dream in poor ground. Negative people. Don't try to convince others. See, if you live your life trying to convince others, you'll never be able to do that. Because at the end of the day, you'll be accountable to God. The Bible says, don't cast your pearls before what? Because they're going to do two things. Number one, they're going to walk all over your dreams. And number two, they're going to turn around and attack you. Don't share your dream too soon. And then dare to dream a God-sized dream. Post where you are right now, your two is not lesser than. All your life has been prepared for that. So you need a dream. Number two, you need determination. Determination. Pastor Mensa Odebo, you have been here pastoring for 41 years. You had to have determination. Because in that much time, people have come, people have gone. People have made promises, people have broken promises. People thought you're going to do life with are no longer there. There have been major surprises in life, but determination, because you got to expect resistance. Expect resistance. And number three, you need a developer. So my greatest regret in life is when I was coming up in leadership, I didn't have mentors and guides and coaches and directors and people who spoke into my life on purpose. People spoke into my life, but accidentally. I can tell you, life has been good. God has been very, very gracious to me, but I could have been a much better leader earlier if I had mentors in my life. A developer. So what does a mentor do? A mentor gives you wings to fly high and roots to go deep. A mentor then is involved in your life on your personal level, on a professional level. He gives you purpose, a process. A mentor. That's one of the challenges of the charismatic movement. When we became individuals, we had no covering. And everybody did which was right in their own eyes. And the book of Judges shows up. When we move from priests to judges. So Jesus made two bold moves. He came and he left. The best thing Jesus did for the church was to do what? Leave. He told us, if I don't go away, the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost cannot come. I have a question for all the pastors. If you really believe that greater days are ahead for your church, maybe your leaving might be the best thing you can do for the church. I'm just putting groceries on the table right now. So, in closing, I'm already gone 13 seconds over. And Pastor told me we don't pay overtime. So this is on my time. So how do you prepare your successor? Just like Jesus did. We are in this room because of his successors, known as the apostles. Is that correct? I am a Christian today because doubting Thomas went to India to preach the gospel. Christianity went to India because of doubting Thomas. So it was the apostles. So how did Jesus do it? 4 simple steps. Step number 1, I do it, you watch. Step number 2, let's do it together. Step number 3, You do it and I watch. Step number 4, I'm out of here. Okay, let me make sure. I'll give you one more time, then there'll be a test. Step number 1, I do it, pastor is doing it, I do it and you watch. Step number 2, let's do it. Step number 3, you do it and number 4, I'm, okay. Don't look at your notes now, everyone look up. Step number 1, let's, so how do you develop a leader? I'll give you the sequence to developing leaders. Heart, head, hands. Heart, head, hands, in that order. Your successor does not need to be a doer. They've got to have your heart. They can preach different, they can administrate different, they can organize different, but they've got to have your heart. Heart of honor and heart of humility. We get all enthralled with somebody who can do the job. You have people like that in your church who can do the job, but they run over people in the process. So you reach their heart, you cultivate their heart. And heart is not cultivated in a conference. Heart is not cultivated in a program. Heart is not cultivated by a book or a podcast. Heart is cultivated by proximity, which we don't like to do because we are so busy. Heart. Whenever I do consult with churches, I just want to know. I don't care if they can do the job or what their degrees are, what their experience is. I just want to ask the pastor, does he have your heart? Does she have your heart? If they don't have your heart, see, things don't go wrong, they start wrong. Get me now? Things don't go wrong, they start wrong. And you can't start with their hands, you got to start with their heart. And from the heart now you start helping them with their thinking, their head. And then it is part of their hands. So the groceries are on the table. I've gone 3 minutes and 43 seconds over. I apologize. Senior Pope, please. Forgive me. So I'm done for this session because we're going to do something else now. Yeah, come on up. Oh, yeah. While you're coming up. Oh, okay. Can the screen people put the screen up there for this? There we go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. There's a book screen coming up. There it is. So all you got to do is either take a picture of the QR code. It's free. It'll come in your email. Free. And so just take that picture of the QR code or go to Free Tsunami. It's a practical book. And I tell you what will be good for you is after you read it, you can share it with the church leadership. Because this is a roadmap. That's all it is. This is just a roadmap, and you make decisions out of that. It's free. It'll come in your email, your iPad, wherever, it'll come to you. Simply freetsunamibook.com or just take a picture of that QR code. Please be seated. Okay, he's coming. Should I come down? Should I stay up here? Come down? Okay.